Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. What's up? Ate a satisfying meal and topped it off the meat of desserts. Mr. Hot speaking. Previously, there was a rant on Nickelodeon. No, there were like 3 or 4 rants yesterday on Nickelodeon. A few remakes. This is gonna be a rant on TV shows that need to die, but this is titled "TV Shows That Must End." Ugh. In this rant, we'll be speaking of TV shows that have been airing too long and need to be put to death. Or in a more friendlier, more friendly term, come to an end. Yes, all shows need to come to an end. Alright. Which show to start off with? Alright. Most people know this, SpongeBob. SpongeBob is one of the shows that very many people agree with that needs to end. But it needs to end mainly because it does nothing but abuses randomness in each episode. And it's predictable. Every episode is just going to abuse randomness like the previous ones have. Even the older episodes abuse randomness too much. And no, they're not perfect. Each SpongeBob episode it is a normal, boring day. Something random happens or something extraordinary happens, and the episode goes unfinished. The end. Never brought up again in any other upcoming episode. It's pointless to continue a TV show that's just going to do that every episode. It's cliche. The plots are become cliche and predictable. Also, in these almost 16 years of SpongeBob has not grown up. Nothing has changed about the TV show. Plankton still hasn't gotten a secret formula. SpongeBob still doesn't have his boating license. The characters haven't gotten any older. There are no new characters introduced. There are no new locations in the show. There are no new aspects about the show. In every episode, something random that happens is never brought up again, and that is why the show sucks mainly. The characters haven't changed. The locations in the show haven't changed. And the plots haven't changed. So SpongeBob needs to end once and for all. Next up, many people are going to agree with this show too. Almost as much as SpongeBob, but not as much as SpongeBob because there haven't been as many rants on this particular show. But the show also came from Nickelodeon as a Nicktoon. Has been around since 2001, so it's been around it ran from 2001 to 2006 or 5. It was revived in 2008, and it's continuing to make episodes most likely. And that is, how many years has it had? 11 years, 11 to 12 years, and that is a Fairly Odd Parents. That show, like SpongeBob, needs to end. The Fairly Odd Parents is just as predictable and cliche as all the SpongeBob episodes put together. And the changes in that show, they were not the changes people that most would have liked. The two main new characters, Poof and Sparky, are some of the worst characters known to TV out of the hundreds that exist. That was a poor move. That's when the show jumped a shark. Well, the show sucked to begin with, as an opinion, but no more of the show. There were at least compared to SpongeBob, there were changes in the show, but very negative changes. Like Chester and AJ barely had any appearances in the episodes after it was revived. Same with Bull Francis. Vicky didn't have as many appearances. Well, thank goodness. She was annoying to begin with. And so forth. Timmy is still 10 years old after a decade of being 10. He hasn't grown up at all. He shouldn't even have fairies anymore. He should be in middle school. Why? He should be in like 7th grade, at least 6th grade. He shouldn't even have fairies anymore. And why were those two spoiled brats, Poof and Sparky, introduced? Did nothing but make the show even worse than what it was. And had the similar downfall of the characters, just like SpongeBob did. And the plots. It's a normal day. No, something happens that's not beneficial for Timmy. He makes a big wish, which he still hasn't learned. Be careful for what one wishes for. It goes haywire. Everything's back to normal. Happy ending, usually. The end. Wow. Like most kids shows, eh? Yes, please end this show already. It's a surprise that people haven't been complaining about this show as much as SpongeBob, but it is just as bad as SpongeBob, almost. It's not as bad as SpongeBob, because at least it doesn't air and get as much attention as SpongeBob does. Alright, next show. A few people are gonna disagree, not many are gonna disagree, but it's Arthur. Arthur needs to end already. Arthur needs to die already. Arthur's been on since September 2nd, 1996, and he is still in 3rd grade after almost 19 years of being on TV. No, don't do that, TV. Don't do that. He should be in middle school by today. He should have already been in the 4th and 5th grade, and he should be in 7th grade. He should be in at least 6th grade. He should be in 7th or 8th grade. There are over 400 episodes, probably. That doesn't make sense. He can't be still in 3rd grade after many episodes. There are only 180 days in a school year. That makes no sense at all. Notice show hasn't gone really downhill. Well, a few episodes have. The newer episodes, a few of them have gone downhill. Not as much as Fairly Oddparents and SpongeBob, but it has barely changed. Yes, there were more changes in SpongeBob and Fairly Oddparents, and these were positive changes, but the only redeemable changes were the Los Vecinos, the Molinas family, their neighbors from Ecuador, Binky adopting a baby sister, and those were the only few changes. And Kate, Pal, and a few other characters getting to talk. That was it. There have been literally no other changes in this show at all. And yes, like SpongeBob, this show abuses randomness. And there will be a rant on TV shows that abuse randomness, because there are many ideas in the show that are never reused in any other episode after that. They're never brought up again or mentioned. What's up with that? Arthur being in 3rd grade, that makes one sick to their stomach. Some may argue that it's a timeless show and that it's supposed to be for kids, the new generations, for who are in 3rd grade, but no, a TV show character cannot stay in 3rd grade forever. No. Moving on to the next show, even worse than what Arthur's been doing. Family Guy needs to end too. Family Guy is nothing but an overrated show that's popular with teenagers, and it basically ripped off The Simpsons. And yeah, many people say that episodes got worse. The show sucked to begin with, and the characters haven't even grown up. That's final. That show needs to go bye-bye. Even worse, South Park. South Park needs to go bye-bye too. Only redeemable quality is that they moved from the 4th grade to the 5th grade, but they haven't even grown up since. And this is one of the most overrated shows to ever hit TV, with a huge fan base that attack people for their opinion. That show is even worse than Family Guy. Next show up, The Simpsons. Ah, why is that show still on? It's been on since December 1989. It's been on for 25 and a half years, yet almost no aspects have changed about the show. Homer isn't any older, Bart isn't any older, Lisa, Marge, and Maggie aren't any older. Bart's in 5th grade. Bart should be in like high school by high school. If this show's been running for over 2.5 decades, these characters should be at least 5 years older, if not 10 years older. Bart should be pretty much a young adult. Same with Lisa. Maggie should be in like middle school, and Homer and Marge should look older. And yet the new episodes don't even look any different. The show just looks the same, like Arthur. Very, very few aspects of the show have changed at all. And this is one of the most overrated shows to hit TV. People were hypocrites about this show too. They say all the other shows need to end except this one because this one never loses a touch. Well, it probably has some. Only few people agree that the show needs to end, but yes, this show needs to end forever. If the characters are not gonna get any older, why bother keeping a TV show? Next TV show. What is it? If they're any. Sesame Street. That show needs to end before any of these shows. Why is Sesame Street still on? It's been on since 1969. 46 years. It's older than some parents. It was there when the baby boomers were kids. What on earth? That show barely even changed, and it just got worse. It sucked to begin with. It got worse throughout the years with these new characters, especially Elmo's World, and the show sucked to begin with, hands down. And that show doesn't even deserve to be airing that long. It has over 1,000 episodes. And it's Sesame Street already. Is there any other shows that need to end? Let's see. Dora the Explorer, not as much, but at least Dora's finally became 10 years old, so I'm going to be more lenient with that show. Oh yeah, Scooby-Doo. No more Scooby-Doo spin-offs, please. No. If they make another spin-off of Ben 10, please get rid of that show and throw it into outer space. Throw it into another galaxy. If they ever make another spin-off of Ben 10, it'll make one want to scream their brain out of their head. The other shows? No, most of the shows ended, thank goodness. Curious George, that show kind of needs to end too. The stories are repetitive, and it gets boring after a couple years, which it already has. It's been on since fall 2006, so it's been on for like almost 9 years. That's probably all I'm just going to say for shows that need to end. There's not really any other shows that exist. Well, they have to have ran for almost at least 10 years to have made this list and still be airing. And there are not many other shows probably that one would know of. Oh, yeah. Just thinking if there are a few more. No. Good. We don't want to see those shows ever again. Those shows have had enough on TV. They've had their time of... No, sorry. They've had their fun and glory on TV. They need to be put to rest. They need to be buried 100 feet deep in a graveyard and set on fire. These shows, not kidding. Done with these shows. Bye bye. End of discussion. No arguing with Mr. Hata, and that's final. The only few of these shows that actually haven't gone downhill as much are Arthur. SpongeBob is too predictable. Fairly Odd Parents, but these other shows, they need to go bye-bye. For real. The only reason for being lenient with Dora is at least Dora actually got 3 years older. After being on TV for 14 years, she became 3 years older. That's why we're not being as mean to Dora. But yeah, they better not make any spin-offs of these shows, or these shows are bound to fail. Spin-offs in general do not do well. With that, that's all there is to say for this rant. See one on the next rant on TV shows that abuse randomness. Peace out. Yeah, good night.